Yo, what up? We're back for UFC 240, and we're just going to get right into it with the first fight of the night with Giacomo Lemos taking on Tanner Boser. And, Lemos, he's going to be making his UFC debut in enemy territory here. Boser is Canadian. And this is also going to be Lemos' first fight in North America. So, it's interesting. He has some things that he has to do. Lemos has a very sloppy boxing technique. He has an okay jab. He'll close the distance with hooks. He'll throw a jab, overhand, right combination pretty well. He also likes to throw a jab, overhand, right, left hook. His hand speed, though, is just not good. He's very hittable in boxing range himself. He knows he doesn't have great hands. He doesn't throw them very much. He uses a lot of lateral movement kicks until he can time an entry for a takedown, and that's really his game. Pretty good inside-outside kicks. He has decent round kicks. And, he likes to throw front kicks to the body a lot. His striking is solely used to get inside. It isn't very dangerous. He looks tough, though. He has a good chin. He has 4 knockouts, mostly due to ground and pound. And he's undefeated, so he's never been, finished before by strikes. Lemos, he is a grappler. He likes to get opponents in the clinch, against the cage, work in the dirty boxing range. He'll get an over-under, land knees to the body. Good job throwing hooks to the body, uppercuts to the head as well. And he will get the Muay Thai plum, look for knees to the body, to the head. His wrestling isn't the best, though. He basically just pushes opponents up against the cage, looks to kind of switch between doubles and singles. I would say his single leg is his best takedown attempt, and when he gets the takedown, he is very active with ground and pound. He'll start to spam these small hammerfish short punches, kind of like rabbit punches, and then he'll mix in more powerful ones. And he has nice short elbows. He definitely is relentless with his grappling. He'll continue to go for takedowns if you get up, and looks to have fairly good cardio, especially for a heavyweight. Once he gets opponents down in the later rounds, that's when he can move to mount, go for the finishes. He doesn't go for submissions very much, definitely more of a ground and pound finisher. He does have one career submission. And he's going to need to close the distance, get his hands on Boser. And he doesn't have to have the striking, in my opinion, to fight basically anyone in a range fight in the UFC. He needs to make it ugly. He needs to work his boxing, his dirty boxing, control against the cage, bring it to the mat ultimately. His top game just doesn't look bad, but, I don't know. He finishes fights from there on the lower level. But Tanner Boser, he's making his UFC debut. And he's fighting out of Canada. He's much more experienced. He has defeated some recognizable names. And he's fought a lot of decent guys in the sport. He's much smoother, more technical striker. Better movement, better shot selection. And he's deceptively athletic. He has good movement. He switches stances. He's not standing in front of opponents. He likes to work behind kicks, counter with punches, elbows. His opponents try to close the distance. And, he's a pretty big, long guy as well. He's 6'2". I think Lemos is 6'3", so they're going to be similar in reach, I would assume. But, Boser throws heavy round and front kicks to the body, to the head. Nice 1-2s as his opponents try to close the distance. Counter hooks moving backwards, overhand rights moving backwards. He's good at landing and angling off. And he is hittable in the pocket especially, but he has a great chin. I've seen him take some bombs and show nothing. He just continues to come forward. 7 knockouts. Definitely more of a volume fighter, though. Doesn't have that one-punch power. He finished his last fight with leg kicks, which his leg kicks are really nasty. He lost his last decision. But, I thought he won some of those decisions that he fought. They seemed like kind of got a bit of a raw deal on some of those. His record could easily be a little bit better than it is. And he has been knocked out one time in his career. For Boser, he's not an offensive grappler. He's definitely going to try to use his lateral movement, his striking to keep Lemos at bay. I haven't seen him shoot many, if any, takedowns at all or look for the clinch, but he shows good balance, good takedown defense, especially against the cage. He'll dig double underhooks to circle off, attack with knees. And, Dennis Smolderov, who's a pretty good wrestler, was able to time some double leg takedowns, but Boser also showed a strong sprawl, and he isn't bad off his back. He has good get-ups, he'll attack with Kimuras, good cardio, and he'll work off the breaks with solid attacks. To me, his takedown defense is pretty good. He isn't someone who will work on top much, but he does have 2 rear naked choke submissions early in his career. He's never been submitted, and he's going to want to use his kicks, movement to outstrike Limos. When Limos closes the distance, gets the cage, deny the takedowns, get Limos tired. And if he can deny the takedowns, put the pressure on him, I could see him getting the finish. And in my opinion, this is a good fight for Boser. I think that Boser is a better striker, better wrestler, and he's going to be able to use his striking to hurt Lemos, defend all the takedown attempts most likely. I think he's going to systematically break him down, leg kicks, body kicks, maybe even knock him out with the head kick, but my pick's going to be Boser via late second or early third round TKO in this fight. And up next, we have a bit of a weird fight, in my opinion, with Kyle Stewart taking on Eric Koch. Koch, he only fights very rarely, but Kyle Stewart, he had an unsuccessful UFC debut, came in on short notice, and he was submitted in the first round against Chance Rencounter. And, Chance Rencounter, he came back, he had that win in his last fight, so not a bad loss there. He's going to be looking to put his best foot forward here versus Eric Koch. Kyle Stewart, he's well-rounded, he has power, good straight right hand, good 1-2, and definitely keeps the pressure on opponents, likes to walk them down, close the distance, and let his hands go in the pocket, heavy hooks, mix in uppercuts, and he could drop or finish the fight with either hand. His right hand especially has big power, keeps a fairly long stance. He has a pretty good reach, a long reach. He's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage here, 4.5-inch reach advantage, and it helps him in his striking, but it gives away a single leg, makes him a little bit more susceptible to leg kicks, and he likes to trade when he gets hit. He'll try to return with 2 or 3. He doesn't throw kicks much, but he has good body kicks, good leg kicks, and he has 4 knockouts. He has a great chin. He's never been finished by strikes, and he's definitely willing to walk opponents down, take a shot to give one, which could be important in this fight. But to me, he's an average grappler. He has questionable takedown defense. I did hear that he has moved over to the MMA lab. He's been working a lot on his grappling, so could show here. He will shoot double legs, body locks himself. And he isn't extremely active with his wrestling. He'll usually get top position from reversing takedowns. He has a decent Kimura. He'll sprawl, circle to the back. He also will get double underhooks, snap down into front headlock position. But, in his last fight, he gave his back when he tried to get up. And Chancellor counter tapped him out. But on top, he has nice elbows. He likes to get that side saddle position, attack with, choke, short shots. And, but to me, he allows opponents to get on his legs, body locks pretty easily. He doesn't have good clinch technique, gets taken down, and he can be taken down by chain wrestlers as well. I kind of expect Koch to try to get takedowns with body locks, take the back, so he has to be ready for that. Stewart does usually have good get-ups. He's very aggressive when he stands up. He'll, attack immediately with strikes. He has 2 arm bars, so he will sometimes attack off his back, but I would be surprised to see him get a submission. He also, has good cardio. He has more power, and Koch, doesn't deal with pressure well. If Stewart can back Koch to the cage, he could land that finishing punch, just kind of bully him, make it his fight. Eric Koch, he's still searching for his first win in over 3 years, so he's lost back-to-back fights, had to pull out of 3 others due to injury, and he's notoriously been a fighter who's struggled to make it to fight night. He's had 11 bouts canceled in his UFC career, and he definitely needs to win to keep his job here, in my opinion. He looked much sharper in his last match when he fought Bobby Green than when he fought Clay Guida, in my opinion. That fight was a year and a half ago, though, but Koch is still only 30 years old. He could put some wins together, and you never know. He once was scheduled to fight for the UFC title, but he's a distant striker, snappy jab, good 1-2. He tries to snipe opponents from the outside, straight punches, standing elbows as they close the distance. And in his last match, Koch was on fire with his left hook. He was landing it early and often, especially off the breaks. And he has solid kicks, nice leg and body kicks, tricky head kicks, mix head kicks into combinations. You could throw him with both legs. And when he's given space, he's a pretty solid range striker. He really struggles to deal with forward pressure, though. He gets spastic. He'll start darting in with big explosive movements from far too close, and it leaves him open to being hit, to being taken down. He becomes too defensive when opponents go forward. He'll get backed up easily, just kind of shell up. And, he used to be much more confident, aggressive, but after taking a couple of knockouts, he doesn't seem to fight with that same, that same vigor, really. He doesn't have big power in his hands, but he does have, powerful kicks. He has 4 career knockouts, and he's only been finished by strikes 2 times. But, Koch, he isn't a bad grappler. He has a lot of submission wins in his career. Definitely likes to get opponents backed up near the fence where he can get in on body locks, solid trips, and he works to the back pretty effectively. He was able to take down Bobby Green, take the back in round 1, and he won't usually be offensive with takedowns unless he's at a disadvantage on the feet. But he isn't bad at defending the initial takedown shot. He'll dig underhooks, sprawl on doubles, but he struggles with chain wrestling. If you can get him to the cage, flow between takedown attempts, he will be taken down. Usually he also struggles to blend his techniques together. Clay Guida, was continuously darting in with punch combinations, then ducking under and taking him down easily. Koch will attack from his guard with triangles, arm bars. He initially has good get-ups, but if opponents start to grind him out, he kind of breaks pretty easily. He'll start to accept bottom position, just not do much. He has never been submitted. He is a guy that will usually fight to the final bell, but he has 8 submissions in his career, but just 1 in 9 UFC fights. He's not been very active with that. I think Koch should look to mix it up, though, in this fight. He's going to be the quicker, more technical fighter, look to use his straight shots, snipe Stewart, keep him on the outside, then take him down when Stewart tries to open up. If he can use his body locks to get control time or even take the back, threaten with submissions, I see him having a good chance to win. He just needs to stay technical, control the center of the cage. And this is a tough fight for me to call. I think that Kyle Stewart is definitely the fresher, hungrier fighter, obviously. He has more power. And it's going to come down to if he can get inside and has a composure when he does. He can't get taken down or get hit entering range with a big shot. Has to go forward, wear on Koch enough to have him want to quit. For Koch, he needs to stay technical, use his speed, use his movement, piece Stewart up. If Stewart has success getting inside, get in the clinch, take him down, he can't let himself get backed up and make the fight a firefight. My pick's going to be Eric Koch via decision, but I could see the fight going either way. I think Koch is better everywhere, and it's going to be very telling if he loses this fight. Maybe you should think about hanging him up, but my pick's going to be Eric Koch via decision here. And up next here we have Jillian Robertson taking on Sarah Frota. And, Jillian Robertson, she's fighting for the first time in Canada, her home country. She's going to, she's coming off a bounce-back win where she won via second-round finish over, I can't remember who that was. Who was that? I can't remember right now. But, yeah, she had a second-round finish over whoever that was. And she's a grappler. Striking is, very much developing. She really just likes to circle, fake, feint, get it on the single leg. She would throw like a 1-2 or a jab, but she doesn't have power on her shots yet. And due to that, fighters are able to absorb or slip the shot and return with counters. And, she isn't the most explosive athlete, so her technical striking, is not very good. She's very hittable. She, is kind of not very fluid with her footwork. She's a little bit choppy. And when she gets walked down, she just doesn't pose a big enough threat to back opponents up usually. She does have a good chin. She doesn't get discouraged. And she will eat shots to get inside. She's never been finished by strikes or strikes standing up on the feet. She was finished by strikes on the ground against Barb Honchak. And she definitely doesn't have power. She has no KO TKOs in her career. But she's a very strong grappler. She has great entries into her takedown attempts. Single legs are really her thing, She'll duck under, dump her opponents. And, she's very good with her double as well, though. She also pull guard. When she gets on top, she has very heavy top pressure. She'll pass right in them out. Hard elbow, strong control, very good rear naked chokes. And, she was submitted once already, though, via armbar against Mayra Buena Silva. So there's going to be opportunities for Robertson to take Frota down in this fight. And when she does, she needs to capitalize. But she shouldn't do anything dangerous. Rely more on position, ground and pound over submission. If submission is there, go for it. But she needs this match on the ground, and she needs to be wary of the takedown or the submission attempts of Frota. But Robertson has 4 submissions. She's been submitted that one time, and she has to have been training submission defense from inside opponents' guards after that. She obviously is going to try not to get caught sleeping again, but if Robertson can just stay heavy, keep top position, land some ground and pound, she should be successful. I see her getting takedowns in this match. Unless she runs into a shot, I think she's not going to get knocked out, but she has opportunities with her submissions. If she can take the back, She could get the sub even on a black belt like Frota. But Frota, she's coming off her first career loss, split decision in her UFC debut. And she missed weight by 8 pounds for that fight. So that was at 115. Now she's moving up to 125. She was a big 115er. I don't really think she's going to be undersized in this matchup or in the division. Frota is a bit sloppy as a striker, but she definitely has knockout power. She's respected on the feet. Plots forward in a straight line. She keeps heavy pressure. She's a southpaw. She likes to close the distance with the straight left. She'll throw 1-2s, jab, overhand lefts. And when she gets inside, she will throw, short hooks in close range. She throws the hooks very wide with full power. She'll throw inside leg kicks, body kicks. Her kicks sometimes come very slow. They're easily caught or countered, where I think Robertson could time takedowns off or catch those and take her down. She doesn't cut the cage off. She holds her hands low as well. So fighters who could strike an angle definitely are going to beat her. But, she definitely has some power. She has 2 knockouts, and she's never been finished by strikes. She's definitely going to have a big advantage on the feet in this fight. She's a black belt. She'll close the distance, work for body locks. She doesn't shoot takedowns at range. She'll only get them in the clinch or against the cage usually. And she really isn't extremely active looking for takedowns. I think in this fight she's going to want to try to keep it on the feet, to be honest. But her takedown defense is not very good. When she can see the double coming, she'll do a decent job of attacking with the guillotine. And she'll sometimes use to snap opponents down, take top position, but she also pull guard with it. Usually, though, she'll throw herself off balance. She'll come in square. And she was taken out several times in the clinch versus Livia Souza. A lot of times, Florida seems to just flop to her back and try to work her guard. She will pull guard as well. And, off her back, she has a lot of submission. She'll attack with triangles, arm bars. She's finished a lot of her fights that way. She'll even get the rubber guard, attack with go-go's, omoplatas. She was definitely able to nullify the top game of Livia Souza. She forced several referee stand-ups with her guard. But she didn't really threaten with many submissions. She did give her back late in the fight. She took some ground and pound. And Frota won't work to get up usually. If she can't get the submission, she usually loses the round. And this is an interesting matchup because I do think Robertson will take Frota down. And we get to see who has the better ground game. Frota has 5 submissions. She's finished 7 of her 9 wins. And usually when fights go to decision for her, they're close. She has 2 split decision wins. And 2 split decisions. She's won 1. She's lost 1. And she'll need to prove she can bounce back from a loss, get the win here. Frota needs to pressure Robertson on the feet, let her shots go, deny the takedowns or reverse top position. If she gets put on her back, attack with the submissions. If they aren't working, they'll work to get back her feet. And if she could stay off her back, she should win the fight. But this is another tough fight to predict. I see Robertson being the quicker fighter, being able to get takedowns on the wild Frota, and I feel the main danger in this fight is Frota's guard. It's tough for me to see a submission for Robertson because Frota is a solid black belt, but if she can take the back, it's possible. But to me, I think that she's just going to be able to get takedowns, but if she starts to get overwhelmed by the pressure, gets hit with a big shot, gets flustered, gets knocked out, that's very possible. But my pick's going to be Jillian Robertson via decision here. And up next here, we have a really good fight. One of the best fights on the card, a flyweight fight between Alexandre Pantoja and Deiveson Figueredo. And, Pantoja's ascending up the rankings. He's 5-1 in the UFC, coming off of back-to-back finishes. His one loss was also questionable. A lot of people thought he won that fight. And he's peaking right now. He's looking phenomenal, coming off a first-round knockout of former title challenger Wilson Hayes. And he's dominated his last three opponents. He's an aggressive striker. He has a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Nice jab, good 1-2, nasty leg kicks. He throws a really good 1-2 leg kick combination. Very good jab, left hook combo. Really nice right hook, overhand right. Really good at sliding back, countering. And nice hooks to the body. He'll throw a right hook to the body, left hook to the head combo. Nice front kicks. And he's shown a tendency to fight emotionally, get a bit wild. When he gets hit, he'll try to get aggressive and get it back right away. No problem sitting in the pocket exchanging. And he definitely has great chin and very good power. But he can't do that here against a heavy hitter, maybe the heaviest hitter in the division in Deiveson. He has to be more technical here. And, his striking has hit another level since joining American Top Team. The last guy that fought Deiveson was also from American Top Team, and they had a very good game plan for him. So, that's a good sign here for Pantoja. But his hand speed, his head movement is much better. slips and rips in the pocket much more effectively. He feints a lot more, along with his shot selection being a lot better also. He landed a switch stand straight right hand that knocked Wilson Hayes out in his last match. That was pretty nasty. And he needs to have that technical approach again here. He can't get wild. He can't allow Figueredo takedown attempts, knockout opportunities. And he has 7 knockouts himself. He's never been finished by strikes. He has a really good chin. And he's a great grappler. He has superb jiu-jitsu. Very strong in the clinch. When he backs fighters against a cage, he likes to grab the Muay Thai plum, land hard knees. Single collar position. He has nasty elbows, knees to the body. He has very good body lock takedowns. Pretty good reactive shots from the outside. And, if he has an advantage on the mat, he'll shoot takedowns. On top, he's very good. Great guard passing, moves into dominant positions. Nasty ground and pound, extremely accurate. We saw that when he fought Brandon Moreno. He loves to take the back, or he has a great body triangle, good control. He has 6 rear naked choke finishes. Never been submitted. And I expect him to try to keep this fight standing. Avoid being put on his back. His takedown defense is solid. He has a strong sprawl. He's good at creating scrambles right away. And in his fight against Dustin Ortiz, he lost more due to Ortiz being able to turn in after Pantoja took the back. But he didn't have great success taking Pantoja down. And Pantoja is also extremely hard to hold down. He creates scrambles very well. And he has 9 submissions. He's clearly the more technical striker here. I see him having success with his counters, but he just has to stay disciplined, move his feet. He can't get emotional, engage in brawls. Stay moving, use your straighter, faster hand speed, superior, foot speed to win the day. If he could time takedowns, that'll be great as well, because I think he could control on top. I think he has the better jiu-jitsu. And Pantoja has solid cardio and just needs to show his maturation and outclass Figueredo here. For Deiveson, needs to get back on track. He was handed his first career loss. Began his career 15-0, his UFC career 4-0. But he lost a pretty comprehensive decision to Jussier Formiga. Formiga largely dominated the fight, muted the offensive Deiveson. Deiveson barely landed anything in that fight. Figueredo, he's a huge flyweight. Definitely tries to intimidate his opponents. He's a bully in the cage. Walks him down with his hands down. Looks for big counters so he can return with big uppercut, straight punches. Extremely powerful straight right hand. And really brutal body punches. Very nice body kicks. He doesn't throw many kicks, though. When he feels you're starting to wilt, he will start to go heavy for the kill, though. He's a finisher. And he really likes attacking with heavy shots off the breaks and grappling situations, which is somewhere where I think he could have success in this fight. He doesn't cut the cage off very well, though, and he can get a bit inactive looking for one big shot or just like a takedown entry. He's also a bit slow. He's open to be hit. I think he's definitely the slower fighter here. He does have 8 knockouts, and he could change the fight with 1 shot, so his striking is definitely, respectable for sure and dangerous. A lot of people see him as more of a striker, though, but to me, he's definitely a better grappler. His striking, he uses it to back opponents up, try to wrestle. He's good at getting inside on the body lock clinches, getting double underhooks, looking for trips. He was able to take John Moraga down a lot. He also has a good double leg, and he's very powerful, when he takes you down, good control. He likes to beat opponents up from their guard, usually big ground and pound. And when he, postures up, he could throw punches to finish the fight. But he can be taken down himself. He does attack with guillotines, Kimuras, and his guillotines are dangerous. He will jump on guillotines and really go for the finish. He was largely controlled on his back against Jared Brooks, though, and got his back taken in a scramble in that fight. Against Jussier Formiga, he was taken down with almost every takedown in the book. Formiga landed a single, a double, a body lock. And Figueredo was active with elbows off his back, but he dominated. But, he got dominated. He allowed Formiga to pass the dominant positions. And Deiveson is good when he can be the hammer, when he could walk opponents down, get him moving backwards, rough him up. He really is not a technical fighter on the feet. His power is superb, though. I think Figueredo is going to be looking to get this fight to the mat. I think he definitely has a good puncher's chance on the feet, but Pantoja's never been finished. He's much faster. And if Deiveson can use his size to take Pantoja down, wear on him, slow him down a bit, Pantoja could become a little bit tired, more flat-footed. Then Deiveson could have a better chance at landing a big shot. But my picks can be, Alejandro Pantoja here. I just feel like striking is too good. I think he's going to stay technical, use straight punches, nice counters, leg kicks, keep his feet moving. And I think he's the better grappler, better striker. I think if he gets taken down, he's going to be able to scramble to top position or to his feet. And I think he's going to win a decision here by staying smart. But he does give Deiveson an opportunity to win if he gets emotional, fights dumb, and, allows him to either get in on takedown attempts or, get in a brawl and knock him out. But my pick's going to be Pantoja via decision here. Up next here we have Gavin Tucker. He's going to be returning after quite a long layoff. He's been out almost 2 years. Took a gruesome beating in his last fight against Rick Glenn. And, suffered multiple face fractures. But he is going to be coming back in his hometown. And he's a fighter who utilizes a ton of movement. He has a good lateral movement. He'll switch stances. He's pretty explosive. He's a southpaw mostly. He has a nice jab, body head with it. He'll throw nice 1-2s, leaps into straight left hands. He leaps into a lot of shots. Overhand lefts, rear uppercuts, right hooks. He likes to attack the body with hooks with straight punches. Nice low kicks, good round and front kicks to the body. He will rarely throw high kicks, but they're pretty nice. When he's given space, he'll start to throw spinning kicks, combinations. Looks very good. He'll taunt opponents, and he doesn't deal with pressure very well, though. He'll back himself up against the cage. Rick Glenn was able to cut him off, counter, hurt him. And he does have a solid chin. He's never been finished by strikes. But he took a massive amount of damage in his last fight. Broke 4 bones in his face. And that may have diminished his ability to take a shot. But he has 4 knockouts. And he doesn't look like the greatest grappler, in my opinion. He will mix it up. If he doesn't like the forward pressure he's receiving, he'll look for blast doubles or body locks. He does also have some decent knees, elbows off the break. In top position, he doesn't really look great to me, though. He has okay ground and pound, but he makes mistakes. He doesn't have the best top control. He gives up easy sweep positions. He will look for the back. He has a few rear naked choke wins, but he was taken down, beaten up in his last match. He couldn't get up off his back, and Glenn lit him up with ground and pound. He showed great toughness. He never stopped moving. He could have easily quit in that fight. He was attacking with leg locks, but to no avail. You could tell he was trying to protect his face. It took away from what he could truly show on the bottom, so he may be a little bit better on bottom than he was, because I think he fractured his face in the first round. But he has 4 submissions. He's never been finished. And for Sungwoo Choi, he had a rough UFC debut. He had to travel to Russia, take on a Russian. He was handed a comprehensive decision loss, out-grappled in that fight. But for Choi, he's a rangy striker. He has solid footwork, distance control, very nice leg kicks, a very good 1-2. His jab is nice, great job of pull countering with a straight right hand. Throw a straight right hand left hook combo, and he likes to finish combinations with leg kicks, solid front and round kicks to the body, nasty front kicks to the head, spinning kicks, question mark kicks, roundhouse kicks. Very technical. He doesn't overextend, won't put himself in bad positions, and he has huge power, great accuracy. I've seen him have multiple one-punch knockouts with his right hand, 5 knockouts and 8 wins. In his 1 loss, he was finished. He was also his 2 losses. He lost via decision, and then he was knocked out. And in the fight where he got finished by strikes, he got dropped at the first punch of the fight. But his takedown defense was exploited a bit in his last fight, where he showed the ability to be taken down, but he showed good initial takedown defense. He was attacking with some decent elbows, knees in the clinch, and I have seen him defend some takedowns in the past. I think Movsar Evloev is going to be doing that to, a lot of guys. I think he's going to be able to take down a lot of guys, beat him up that way. He actually just got a fight announced with Mike Grundy, which is really interesting. But, Gavin Tucker, even though I said he can get double leg takedowns, that's not really his thing, And I feel like that leaping in is going to cost him in this fight, because I think Troy's going to time that and knock him out, man. And, I don't know what round it's going to be in. I'm going to give him all 3 rounds. I'm not going to predict the round that he knocks him out, but I just feel like, that at some point Gavin Tucker's going to leap straight into a straight right hand where Choi's just going to put him out cold and knock him out. So my pick's going to be Suwoo Choi via KO in that fight. Now next year we have Hakeem Dawodu taking on Yoshinori Horry. And Dawodu bounced back well after that disaster of his UFC debut where he got finished in 39 seconds. He's won back-to-back fights, and he's fighting again in Canada. He has a nice jab, good 1-2, good jab right hook. Wears opponents out with big body shots. And he's just very crisp, very fast, good leg kicks. He is flat-footed. Sometimes you'll kind of admire his work, so he can be hit with some shots in the pocket. But he likes to use a lot of hooks, uppercuts, wide punches in the pocket as well, which can get him countered also. But, he's never been finished by strikes, and he has an edge when he gets hit. He'll counter back hard. He backs opponents off with that. Definitely is mentally tough. 6 knockouts and 9 wins. And he's a good grappler. He's strong in the clinch, hard knees, short punches to the body, explosive double legs, good body locks, great cardio. He comes in good shape every fight. And he's going to be looking to walk Horry down, cut the cage off, use leg kicks, set up combinations. I think he definitely has a tighter hands in close range. He could potentially bully Horry to a victory. For Horry, he's going to be making his UFC debut. He's a young guy. He's only 24. And this is his first fight in the UFC. He's fighting out of Japan. And this is the first fight. He's also fighting out of Japan. He's fought all his fights in Japan. But he's trained at a solid gym with legendary Pride fighter TK Kasaka. And, he's a good athlete. He has solid speed, karate stance. He bounces in and out. And I was pretty impressed with his fundamentals, but he's still raw to me. He has nice leg kicks, fast straight right hand. He'll attack the body and the head with the straight right hand. He explodes into range. He'll get in, get out very quickly. Pretty nasty left hook, good overhand right left hook. And he likes to throw occasional head kicks, spinning back kicks. And he uses a lot of feints. He counters, and he's smooth, good range striking. He struggles with leg kicks, though he's heavy on his lead leg. I see that being a big problem in this fight. He also doesn't deal with pressure well. He'll pull back with his hands low. He's, wings a lot of big shots. And if he lands, he has big power, but he can be countered as well. And I feel like his chin is a bit questionable. I've seen him rocked in several fights. He was knocked out in his one loss. And he does have power. He has six knockouts, but fighters seem to walk through a lot of his shots. I think his potential to be a good striker when he puts it together, though. And he isn't a very active grappler. He showed some double legs before, some back takes. But his takedown defense is questionable, but I wouldn't say it's bad. He'll sprawl on shots. He has decent underhooks to reverse to top position. And I do feel he's going to struggle against chain wrestlers. He doesn't look great off his back. But, in this matchup, I don't think it's going to be, anyone going for takedowns, really. He does look to slow down in later rounds. His style requires a lot of explosion. I expect this fight to play out on the feet, like I said. And Horry's going to need to catch Dawodu with a big counter, put him out. He has to use his louder movement, hit an angle, not get hit, not get backed up. But I think Dawodu's going to get it done here. I expect him to win the fight with good forward pressure, leg kicks, tighter combos in the pocket. I see him wearing down Horry and finishing him in the second or third round. So my pick's going to be Hakeem Dawodu via KO TKO in this fight. Now, next year we have a cool fight with Alexis Davis taking on Viviane Araujo. And, for Viviane, she's making a quick turnaround after that epic UFC debut. She was up 2 weight classes from where she'd previously fought. She took the fight on short notice. She got a third-round knockout over a girl I think was ranked at the time. And she has trained an American top team, but she stayed in Brazil at Cerrado MMA for this matchup. And Araujo, she's extremely aggressive. She walks opponents down. She'll throw hard jabs, hard straight right hands. She's light on her feet, very nice movement. She switches stances. She'll dart in and out. Super fast, very nice leg kicks, those very good 1-2s. Big power, man, one-punch power. She has a nasty jab overhand right or jab left hook combo. Solid hooks in close range, very fast hand speed. She will load up on huge uppercuts. She can be countered because of that, but they're powerful. She knocked Toledo Bernardo out with 1 punch in her last fight. And in her fights in Pancrase, man, she won her previous 2 by swelling the eye shut of her opponent. So when she lands, she does major damage. Her kicks are very nice also. Nasty round kicks, front kicks to the body, spinning kicks to the head. And her kicks are very fast as well. When she gets to range, she'll start backing opponents up, switching stances, keeps the volume high. She's a problem on the feet when she can get her range. She is hittable herself, but she seems to not fear getting hit. She'll return right back. She also is heavy on her lead leg. She is a bit susceptible to leg kicks, but she's much better going forward than going backwards. In her one loss, she was knocked out by Sarah who's on this card. But she has a similar matchup here to the fighter she fought last. Deiveson and Bernardo are both fighters who are willing to eat shots to get takedowns. Not the greatest strikers, a bit slow. And Raju should be in even better shape. She's down to 125 here and on a full camp. And I feel like she's much faster than Davis. On the feet, I think she's going to light her up. She has 3 knockouts, and they're all in her last 3 fights. But Raju, she's a great grappler. She's a black belt, strong offensively and defensively with her wrestling. She fought a strong black belt in jiu-jitsu in her last match. She defended all her takedowns. And Bernardo, she'd previously been able to take down top 15 opponents at 135, such as Marion Renault, Irene Aldana. And this was up a weight class. Rosa's takedown defense looks pretty solid. She has very heavy hips. She has a great whizzer. She reversed the top position, and she was able to take the back of Bernardo more than once after creating scrambles, after defending takedowns. If she does get taken down, she's active off her back with sweeps, with submissions. She'll attack with arm bars, leg locks. She has a very good blast double, and she's very aggressive with ground and pound. She moves to dominant positions with ease. 4 submissions, and she finished all 7 of her wins. She's never been in decision, but she has, shown the cardio to get a 3rd-round knockout on short notice in her last fight. She's going to want to move early, use lateral movement, catch Davis with leg kicks, punches coming in, slow her down with the accumulation. And Davis is not going to sit back like Bernardo did, so I think Rosa's going to have to move, break her down a bit, then start to go forward. I also think it may be a good idea to hit a blast double if possible. Rosa's going to be tested here. It's going to have to be, her being ready for a strong fighter who's going to come forward and take punishment for 3 rounds, most likely. Alexis Davis, she's been enrolled in this, or entrenched in this role of gatekeeper now. She's taken on her 3rd potential future contender in a row, where she fought Caitlin Chukagian, Jennifer Maya, and now she's taking on Viviane here. And this is arguably a step down in competition, but undoubtedly it's a step down in experience level of her opponent. For Davis, she is a pressure fighter. She wants to just strike skin inside, force grappling exchanges. Her hands aren't great. She is willing to trade, though. She'll throw a jab, straight right hand, overhand right lead, straight right hands to the body, left hooks to the head. She tends to do a lot of reaching with her punches instead of cutting opponents off, though. And she can be countered due to that. She's a bit slow. She's definitely older now. She's 34 years old. She's been in the game for a long time, taking a lot of damage. Good kicks from the outside to the legs and body, but she's a bit stiff, slow plodding. Her striking defense is just not good, man. She doesn't move her head. She's there to be hit, and she's willing to get hit. She wants to take shots, go to war. She has a great chin. She has 2 KO, TKOs, and she doesn't have great power. She's been knocked out 3 times. She's a black belt herself. She's a strong grappler, good upper body clinches, and she likes to get it to the fence work takedowns, but she's not very active with her takedown attempts. She will sometimes try to catch kicks and take you down, which I think is probably her best chance to get takedowns in this fight. On top, though, I don't think she's that good. She can get caught in opponent's guards, inactive. I think she's definitely better off her back. She has a good high guard. She'll land hard elbows, go for arm bars, triangles, good sweeps, and, she slows down as the fight goes on, but she definitely knows how to push through. She's good at surviving, and she's tough to put away. She has 7 submissions. She's been submitted once. She's a ton of experience. She's going to be a tough out for anyone. She's going to come forward. She's going to walk Araujo down, try to push her down, push her to the fence. I see her trying to come over the top with overhand. And if she can get on top of Araujo, she's a black belt herself. She's probably going to be a bit bigger in the matchup. And, she needs to just make it an ugly fight. This is a fun fight, a good gauger for Viviane. I think Davis is a tougher opponent than Bernardo. Both are slow, but Bernardo's flat-footed. She sat back and allowed Viviane to go forward the whole time. Davis, I think she's going to be more willing to go forward and take punishment to try to get inside. She does that versus everyone. If Viviane shows a different type of power versus Davis, could drop her or back her up. That's going to be a statement here. I just think that maybe Davis will start quickly, get Araujo against the fence, lean on her, control her for a second. But as the fight progresses, I see Araujo getting her movement going, being too fast, accumulating damage, and Davis cuts easily. I could see her face being a mess in this fight. I think Araujo could get takedowns also if Davis starts pressuring too heavy, opening up. And my pick's going to be Viviane Araujo via decision in this fight, and I'm pretty confident in this pick. And up next here, we have a fight between Krzysztof Jotko and Marc-Andre Barriault. And I thought Krzysztof Jotko looked excellent in his last fight. He fought the style of fight he needs to fight. He used his speed, movement, kicking ability, stayed elusive, dangerous on the feet, and then ducked under, got the takedown, dominated in top position. And Jotko, he has excellent kicks, front kicks, round kicks. He'll go to the body and the head, good in and out movement, feints, level changes, comes up with straight left hands, overhand lefts, uppercuts. He's a southpaw. He landed several nasty uppercuts versus Uriah Hall. And his hands are solid, but he can get lazy sometimes and lean back, get countered. And he leaves his chin a bit exposed when he throws his jabs. He's facing a heavy hitter here. He has to be sharp. His striking is good, though, man. It could be dynamic. He'll make spinning kicks. He even landed a nasty spinning back elbow in his last fight. He definitely is the better athlete, better movement. And his wrestling and scrambling ability is very good. He has good singles, good doubles. He'll use the takedown attempts to come up into body locks. Very good herky-jerky movement where he'll land a couple shots and then shoot in. And it's hard to kind of defend that. He's methodical in top position. Definitely worries more about control than the finish. His takedown, he took down his opponent in his last fight at will. He was able to pass into side control, beat him up there. He would get the crucifix position, rain down elbows. And he was looking for some submissions, but he couldn't finish the fight. And I'm still a believer in Jotko. He has a strong skill set. When he's confident, he puts it all together. He's a tough out. Definitely faced a much better competition, and he's going to be coming off a dominant bounce-back win, so he should have some confidence here. For Marc-Andre Barriault, he's a power puncher, solid knockout power for sure, and he's going to try to slow down the pace here. He has a good jab, a nice left hook, good left hook, straight right hand. You'll throw a left hook, right hook, right uppercut combination. Good hand speed. Good job going over around opponents' guards with combinations. And definitely needs to try to come over the top of Jotko's punches. Decent footwork, but he can be flat-footed. Heavy on his lead leg. And he allows opponents to back him up. When opponents get aggressive on him, he kind of shells up at times. He does have big power. He has 8 knockouts. He's never been finished. His wrestling defense is improving. He uses the cage to stand up, but I feel this is actually a harder matchup for Marc-Andre than Andrew Sanchez in his UFC debut, though. Both guys are chinny, but Jotko's faster, better kicks, longer reach, better movement. I think he mixes it up better with his wrestling. I think that Marc-Andre has to be aggressive, headhunt for the knockout here. I don't see him winning the decision. He has to catch the chin of Jotko off a kick, a lazy punch, come over the top. I feel if Jotko moves, frustrates him, gets him missing, he's going to tie him up, take him down, get him tired. And I think Jotko has the tools to win a decision here, so that's going to be my pick. Krzysztof Jotko via decision. Up next here, we have a fight between Arman Tsarukyan taking on Olivier Aubin-Mercier. And man, Arman Tsarukyan, he lost his UFC debut, but it was extremely impressive. One of the best fights of the year against Islam Makhachev. He pushed him to the limit. He's only 22 years old. He's training at top team, improving rapidly. And he's well-rounded, man. He's light on his feet. He's good at pushing forward, feinting, bouncing in and out intelligently. Intelligent pressure. Throws jabs to the body, to the head. Left hook, overhand left, straight right hand. Very nice kicks, inside leg kicks, round kicks to the body, to the head, spinning techniques, spinning back fist, spinning back kicks. His boxing is not the best. If you can get by his kicks, you can exploit him in close range. But his takedowns are very good, and you'll just duck under into a single. Nasty head kick knockout in his last win. And, Arman, he proved he's an excellent grappler in his last fight. He has good singles, good doubles. He gets on the tight waist and just hangs on opponents so he can drag them back to the mat. Good job staying connected. And when opponents stand up, just mat returning them, breaking their will slowly but surely. And I've seen opponents attack with pretty good Kimura attempts when he's in top position, but showed some big strength. He was able to slam his way out of one of those. And seems to stay very calm in takedown and submission attempts. And he'll land short punches and elbows from the guard. He isn't a super big threat to finish with strikes. The most dangerous part of his top game is definitely his back takes. And he has a great rear naked choke. Showed amazing takedown defense, scrambling ability in his last match. He was able to dig double underhooks, reverse several takedowns of Islam. He was using the Kimura to counter the takedowns and sweep the top position. He has 5 submissions. Very good single leg, extremely good cardio, and just showed no quit in that fight. But for Mercier, he's lost 2 in a row. And he's a tricky southpaw as well. You know, he has good inside leg kicks, good body kicks, and good right hook. He'll double, triple up on the jab. And he needs to get inside, use his boxing combinations here. And, you know, try to use his kicks maybe to the body. This is a tough matchup for Mercier because Mercier is more of a grappler. But in his last 2 fights, you know, he's given up 6 takedowns. And his takedown defense has been exposed a little bit. Gilbert Burns was able to really dominate him with the takedown attempts. And he's hard to hold down. You know, he look for submissions such as Kimura's. But I think he's going to struggle to get out Tsarukyan's grasp. You know, Mercier is still pretty high level as a defensive grappler. He's never been submitted against guys like Diego Ferreira, Gilbert Burns. And he has 8 submissions. But I think Tsarukyan's wrestling is too much here, man. His grappling, his wrestling is just too good. I think that Tsarukyan has better movement striking as well. My prediction is that Tsarukyan's going to break him with his grappling pace, get singles, jam him against the cage, take him down. Aban Mercier is going to work back to his feet, but he's going to mat return him, keep putting him down, and you know, my pick's going to be Tsarukyan via decision, and I could even see a finish here, but pretty confident in Arman Tsarukyan to get it done here. I just think that his cardio, his wrestling pace, his pressure is just too much here, and he's going to take out Olivier Aban Mercier. So the pick is Arman Tsarukyan here. And up next year, we have the banger of the card, man. Maybe one of the bangers of the year with Jeff Neal taking on Niko Price. And, man, I mean, there's kind of a contrast with styles here in terms of striking, but both these guys are 6 strikers. You know, Niko Price is more of the, you know, wild, frenetic guy where takes a lot of shots to give shots, but he has that one punch, scary knockout power. I mean, he could knock out guys in weird, spooky ways. You know, even in his fight against Randy Brown, everyone talks about that. He got the, you know, the hammer fist off of his back. When he fought Tim Means in his last fight, man, he was getting pieced up, you know, I think he got dropped. If he didn't get dropped, he definitely was getting, you know, wobbled on the feet, getting really, you know, hurt bad. But this guy has no quit in him, man. He always thinks he's going to win. And he always has that puncher's chance where he's going to come back, come in, land a big shot, and just leave you fucking twitching on the ground, man. So you always have to be careful about this guy. But we have seen fighters like when he fought Razak Al Hassan, where if you could stay tactical and he brawls you like that, you can put him out clean. And that's what Jeff Neal is, man. Jeff Neal is a mover, technical fighter, just really, really good in my opinion. I mean, I think he could be a future title contender, UFC challenger, UFC title challenger, UFC champion type guy. I mean, very smooth, very technical. His takedown defense is top notch, man. I mean, he can do this type of takedown where he's planting with one arm, and I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just don't see Niko Price being able to take him down. I think that brawling with Jeff Neal is just not a good idea, man. I mean, he's gonna have his chance to land the big shot and knock Jeff Neal out, but more than likely, man, I think Jeff Neal is gonna find a knockout and knock out Niko Price, man. I think that Niko is way too open to being hit. I think that Jeff Neal is extremely fast. I think that the speed advantage is going to be evident in this fight. I think that Neal's not going to allow himself to, you know, engage in that brawl. I think he's going to stay tactical, pick apart Niko Price, and, you know, eventually knock him out. I think it might be a brutal knockout, like the Razak type knockout. And, you know, Niko always has the chance. He has the puncher's chance to catch Jeff Neal. And I definitely think the line is a little bit off. You know, like, I wouldn't bet Jeff Neal, like, what is he at? I'm about to look real fast here. I think he's like minus 325, minus 365 on bookmaker. Yeah, I would not. I mean, I wouldn't play him. If anything, you know, play Niko Price with the potential of the knockout here. But to me, man, I think that Jeff Neal is gonna feast here. I think he's gonna be able to get a fairly easy win, get a first round knockout. That's gonna be my pick. First round knockout for Jeff Neal here. Man, I mean, up next we have Chris Cyborg taking on Felicia Spencer. And this is probably the first... Well, actually, never mind. I was about to say this is the first non-5-round fight in a long time for Cyborg, but I forgot that she had those fights at 140 with, like, Lena Landsberg. I think she fought Leslie Smith or something as well and got those knockouts. Those are 3-rounders. But most of their fights have been scheduled for 5 rounds of late. But, Chris Cyborg taking on Felicia Spencer. And, man, I mean, basically, this is Cyborg's last fight on her contract here. And she got knocked out pretty brutally in her last fight against Amanda Nunes. But it's hard to take anything away from that fight, in my opinion. I mean, she came in there a little bit emotional. I feel like they had a lot of back and forth, a lot of shit talking. I think that Cyborg felt disrespected that Nunes wanted to fight her because they're both Brazilian. I think she feels like she's maybe, a pioneer for Amanda. But Amanda wanted that top spot, and she got it, man. I mean, she knocked out Cyborg. And, it's interesting where Cyborg's head's going to be at after a loss like that with all this stuff going on in terms of the last fight on her contract. She always is in all these disputes with the UFC, so it's like, it's hard to say that that's going to be too much of an effect on her, because it seems like all the time that she's has a fight, she has some dispute with Dana White, something going on behind the scenes. So it's not like it's something new that she's struggling to come to terms with the UFC, going back and forth with Dana about Nunes. But everyone knows about Chris Cyborg, man. I mean, she's a brutal striker. She's going to have a huge athleticism advantage, huge striking advantage here. And, she's won some jiu-jitsu tournaments back in the day. She has been taken down, though, by some pretty easy takedowns that I've seen. Like when she fought Yana Kunitskaya, she gave those takedowns a little easily, which, Spencer, I think she even took her back. And Spencer, is an excellent back taker, and she can't allow that to happen here. But I think she's going to be ready, a lot more ready for the takedown attempts, because that's Spencer's only way to victory, obviously. I mean, on the feet, it's going to be a butchering. I mean, truly, there's really not much Spencer can do on the feet. She's slower, she's shorter, she's not as athletic, she doesn't have the speed, she doesn't have the power, and she just frankly doesn't have it on the feet to contend with a girl like Cyborg. But she can get it to the mat, get on top. Who knows? I mean, it could be interesting. I mean, when's the last time we've seen Cyborg on her back for actually cemented on her back? Can't really remember. And she's had this mystique for a long time where I think a lot of girls were broken before they got in the cage with her. So Spencer is definitely a girl that's very confident. She's going to go in there, try to work her game plan, which is going to get it to the ground, take the back at the rear naked choke. And, but for Cyborg, this would be such a devastating loss for her career, man. I mean, if she lost this fight, it would essentially be the end of Cyborg's mystique, man. I mean, because she's just lost to Amanda. She's on her last fight of her contract. If she loses this fight, she's going to have very little negotiating power. She's going to be coming off 2 losses. She's later in her career. There's going to be a lot of question marks whether, she's still the dominant person that she was a few years ago. But, man, I mean, I just think the athleticism advantage is huge. The striking advantage is huge. I've seen a lot of things that Cyborg's been doing in the gym where she's been working in the Muay Thai clinch with these big fucking knees, man, just brutalizing the bag. And she lands those knees on Felicia. I think it could be good night, fucking bye Felicia, because, man, I mean, she's throwing those knees with some fucking brutal intent. And, I can't pick Felicia Spencer to beat Chris Cyborg, guys. I think you guys would agree with that. I wouldn't parlay Chris Cyborg minus 650. I mean, just don't think it's worth it because she could, pull something here where she is too much out the cage. It could happen, last fight in her contract, a lot of shit going on, coming off a loss. But if you look at this fight skill set, Cyborg is the stronger girl. She's more athletic. Her experience level is just on a different plateau. And, man, I mean, she should be much faster. She should move an angle. And she should get a first-shot knockout here. A devastating knockout, in my opinion. I mean, if Spencer wants to get in the clinch with her, she should brutalize her there, man. And I've seen Spencer struggle with the power of girls like Pam Sorensen, struggle to take her down, struggle to take a lot of girls down in Invicta. I mean, she had a nice win there against Megan Anderson. But if she could do that against Chris Cyborg, she's going to be looked at in a whole different light here. I mean, but my picks could be Chris Cyborg via first shot knockout. I think she's going to go out there on a mission. I think Spencer's going to get in the clinch and get brutalized by those knees, crumble down. And I think Cyborg's going to finish her with some ground and pound. And it's going to be a classic vintage Chris Cyborg performance. My prediction is going to be Chris Cyborg via first round knockout there. Up next here with the main event with Max Blessed Holloway taking on Frankie the Answer Edgar. And man, I mean, I see a lot of people shitting on this fight. A lot of people like shitting on Frankie Edgar like he's a bum or something. I don't know, but I mean, obviously he's diminished. His last win we saw him fight, it was kind of a ho-hum fight where he beat a guy in Cub Swanson that's not looking very good lately. So in the fight before that, he was knocked out by Brian Ortega. So those things aren't good indications of what's going forward. But what about when he fucked up Yair Rodriguez? I mean, Yair Rodriguez is looking pretty good, right? I mean, that was a hell of a win. So Frankie needs to just come in tuned up here. But the thing is, with Frankie, he's a good counter striker. And I think the line is kind of off, man. I wouldn't bet. I would say Max like minus 200. Him minus 400, I mean, I would never bet that line. But because I think that Frankie Edgar has good counters. I think he could land that counter left hook, use his movement. He always has to be moving in this fight, man. He can't stand in front of Max, allow Max to get that accumulation, because once Max starts putting those combinations together, 10-piece combinations, going body head, he starts zapping the energy of these guys. And Max, he's had traditionally, incredible cardio, so is Frankie Edgar, but if you're getting hit, you're getting bopped up, that starts to wane on your cardio, and that's how Max takes these guys out. But, Frankie, if he can use that movement where he's always had very good, traditional boxing movement, and use the movement to counter with his left hooks, makes Max go first, makes Max go forward, and don't let Max control the distance with his long punches. And when he gets inside, Frankie has to come over the top with big hooks, big power. And if he could start to land, then that's when he can start to get his grappling game going, start to, fake the punches, go down, get some takedowns. If he can get some top control, it's going to be an interesting, fun fight. I actually feel like Frankie's going to make this fairly competitive. I think he's going to win maybe even a round or two in the fight. I think that Max has some of the best distance control that we've seen in UFC history, though, man. And, he has the ability to just keep fighters at the end of his reach with his straight punches. It's weird, though. I mean, he's 5'11", but he's a 69-inch reach. Frankie's reach is longer than his, but just the ability that Max has to keep people at the end of his strikes is really nice. He has really good movement. And when he gets in a flow state and he starts to land those 10-piece combinations, gets opponents stationary, backs him up near the cage, I mean, he's one of the best fighters of all time in that division for a reason. And his takedown defense is very strong, but I mean, he was taken down with a couple double legs by Ortega, even though he was able to, bounce right back up to his feet. Ortega definitely doesn't have the type of, positional control or takedowns of Frankie Edgar. And, it's going to be an interesting fight. I feel like, though, to be honest with you, that Max's just output is going to be too much, because I feel like Frankie's diminished with his chin, man, because we saw that Brian Ortega knockout. He's been in a lot of, wars where he's taking a ton of punishment. I also heard that in one of the fights where he had to pull out of the Max fight, it was due to a concussion that he got in sparring with Zabit Magomedsharipov, where he was knocked out in that fight or dropped in that sparring session as well. So that's another recent concussion-like issue with Frankie. And man, I mean, Frankie sat out a long time. A lot of people don't think he's deserving of this shot, but I feel like he's going to come out here determined. This is his last chance to win a title here. This is his last chance to, be a UFC champion, in my opinion. If he loses this fight, I think that his career is kind of, I don't know. I don't want to say it's done, but it's done in terms of chasing titles, in my opinion. Unless he wants to try to drop down to 35, but even there, I don't think he's going to win a belt. There's a lot of sick guys at 135. So, yeah, man, I mean, I think Frankie's going to come in tuned up for this fight. I think he's going to come in ready to go. And I think he's going to land some nice counters. I think he's going to get some takedowns. And I'm going to say going into the third round, the fight's going to be 1-1 going into the third round. But I think either Max is going to accumulate enough damage where he starts to land some straight punches and takes Frankie out, or he just wins I think he's going to win 3-2 or 4-1 on the scorecards here. So my pick's going to be Max Holloway via decision in this fight. But I think that, Frankie, I don't know if I want to say he's a live dog, because I don't think he's going to win the fight. But I think that the line's off. I wouldn't play Max. And I think Frankie's line has a decent amount of value on it. So, yeah, that's my take for that. But for the parlay of the week for this card, I'm going to say Arman Tsarukyan and Viviane Araujo. And for my most confident pick of the night, I'll probably say Jeff Neal, I guess. Even though I don't know. My most confident pick of the night, I'll say Viviane Araujo for the most confident pick of the night as well. Sometimes I don't really like matching those together, but I'm fairly confident in her to get the victory. I don't see a lot of avenues for Alexis Davis to get the win. So, yep, there's the breakdown for UFC 240. Make sure to check out the Dana White Contender Series video. The odds should be dropping for that card, pretty soon. And hopefully we can cash on the parlay of the week for that card and hit all the plays that we do. Hopefully we go 5 for 5. I mean, shit. Hopefully we go 12 for 12 on this card too. So thanks for listening. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe. Let's try to get 100 likes on this video. That'd be pretty sick. And let's get some comments on there. Tell me who you think's gonna win, who you're picking, and let's have fun watching these fights this weekend and on Tuesday.